So, lightning talks. We have 6 lightning talks. First one, just to give the order so that each speaker knows more or less where he or she is going to come to stage. First one is from Mislav. Second one is from, I think this is German. Yeah? It's Dutch? Okay. So it's you. Okay. After that, the new, right? You, okay. After that, our sexist, which looks like a nickname. Okay, what? Okay. Agile activist. After that, if I am alive. And Norbert plus Cristi is the 6th one. Okay, so just to refresh the rules, time starts when you are ready. We have 5 minutes for the lightning talk, a one at minute 4, and a final gong if you get to 5 minutes.
Okay, hi.
Ready?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Hello. My name is Mislav, and got a confession to make. I'm also lazy. I don't like doing stuff that takes most of my time while developing, such as running tests. I really like writing them and running, looking at their output, and when they tell me that I failed or not, but I don't like running them. And also I don't like running any other tasks that should be run after doing stuff and changing files and anything. So I obviously should like Autotest, but as many as you felt like Autotest isn't a really good solution, doesn't really scale. It's a proof of concept. It's a nice one. It inspired me to do this. Inspired me to find this. This is in my project, but it's I've rewritten it. And if you tried it, you've seen that takes a lot of CPU and does polling and listens to only one project at a time. And if you spawn multiple instances of it, that you're kind of screwed. So polling is bad. You cannot listen to the whole file system. Even with the the operating system should make some kind of a cache so polling doesn't hit the hard disk, but that cache doesn't perform very well because hard disk works a lot and it's really damaging your computer. It's dangerous. So there was a project. There's still a project, but the command line tool was kind of discontinued. It was really great. It replaced Autotest, but it worked only for RSpec. The name was RSpecter, and it still is, but now it's not only for RSpec anymore since I rewritten it. And it works with file system events, which every file system has. And on OS X, on the Mac, we can actually listen to them through Ruby Cocoa. We can write Ruby code that listens to these file system events because we can use Ruby Cocoa. I think something can be done in Ubuntu. I don't know about Windows, but in OS X we have a pretty, simple solution, which looks something like this. This is almost the complete code, which I haven't written. This is written by one guy, found on a blog, and it's. You don't see it's cut off, but it's Ruby Cocoa code to listen to changes on the file system, and you give it the directory, it's going to listen to it, and it I added that it ignores some stuff like .git directories, .svn, and it's pretty fast, and it's incredibly fast, incredibly performant, and like Pat will say, it's good for stuff. He used this to describe one of his projects. So it's good for stuff. It's good for anything, actually. It's not just for tests. You can do this. Sorry, it's a bit cut off. You can do a single method call, pass it a block. That block is an event handler. Like in JavaScript, it will receive a list of files that's changed. You can do this. You can use it for absolutely anything. But to use it manually all the time is kind of, you would have to have a lot of scripts on your project directory to run this all the time and think about it too much, and that needs a solution. So there's a command line tool, and the command line tool can listen to practically all of your home directory if it needs to. This is my fork, and I've kind of rewritten it from scratch almost, and it's I think it's pretty nice to look at. It's really easy to understand, and it's should be fully configurable. Whoa, so that. Okay, a demo.
You have 1 minute.
Okay. A demo is going to be like this. So if I run it, so this is like Autotest. You can see that I have some nice Unicode output there. And if I go and change some of the files in actually RSpectre, it's like Inspector. If I break something like this, it's gonna, oh, it's actually failed. If I break something like comment code out, it's gonna inform me. If you can see in the bottom, it's gonna inform me that it failed. So it's pretty fast, and it's like Autotest. But what I don't think I have time to show is there's a system-wide respector. That
Are you waiting for some flight or something? Because there are people who have to hurry. So we could.
I could switch.
Yeah, you could switch. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we switch now. Now you are ready. You are ready. Yeah. Cristi.
Yeah, I guess.
You are who?
Norbert, Crombach, and Cristi.
The last one. Okay. Okay, we've done some switch.
Yeah. Do you have like a mini DPI thing?
Okay. So mini DVI adapter, please, someone.
Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Oh, right. You don't have mini DPI. What is it then? Here, this is.
No.
Well, it's not a mini DVI.
There's mini FG.
No?
Ah.
Okay, I have one.
Never mind, we don't need the time. Oh yeah, we need. Let's do a little dance.
Yeah, that's the one. Great.
We can do the little.
Is there?
Oh, so maybe I should start now.
Yeah, you do the explanation first.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you'll do the demo. Okay. So my name is
Hang on.
Oh, no?
It's not on the screen yet.
We can start while he's doing stuff.
Yeah.
I can start speaking and he can start.
Oh, wait.
Never mind. So hello, my name is Cristi Balan and this is Norbert Crombach. Oh, right.
Is it working, the thing?
Hello. Yes. No, never mind. We'll start.
Is it working? No, it's
It will work. It must work.
The display is not on yet.
Now working?
No,
Maybe you need to
this is
go to the displays and like mirror.
where?
Okay, we are going to play an exception.
Here, because I have the displays thing here.
The tech displays. Okay.
I don't know. It's crashing right now.
Success.
Great.
Okay, so my name is Cristi Balan. Oh, right. Again. I suppose you all know my name so far. This is Norbert Crombach, and almost 2 years ago I wrote a tool for Git because I wanted to use something like Piston, and it kind of sucked for like half a year, and then Norbert wanted to use it, and he made it a lot better. And now we're gonna have a little demo and show you how you can track your vendor branches in your Git repository, because we've kind of noticed that lots of people keep wanting to do that but don't actually know about our little project. So
Great.
here we go.
Does this mic work? Yeah, all right, great. So I'm going to generate a new Rails project first, use a template for it. That's better, thank you. Right, so we have we've got a Rails project right here now. And the first thing I want to do is make sure that it doesn't use the gems version, but instead it uses the latest version on GitHub. So I'll add a new braid repository. Here's where the tool comes in. Rails, we'll get something like this, I think. I want to track the 2.3 branch, and then we put it in vendor Rails, which is where your stuff goes. Ooh, no good.
You can see that braid also prevents you from losing your local changes.
Right, so it's setting up the remote first. Does it work? Yeah. Okay, good. So it's setting everything up now, hopefully. Right, there you go. Cristi, I need to type, so. So it set up Rails right here. It puts all the information in the .braids file, which is really simple, just some YAML. Now you can also use it, obviously, to set up some plugins. Let's do that. Sorry, Aslak, I don't use RSpec. I'm a test spec man.
Yay.
Test spec on Rails it is, I think. And to show you what happens behind the scenes, I add the verbose option right here. So it's a lot of Git commands happening in the background, setting up everything. It vendors the test spec on Rails plugin, and in the Git log, as you can see, it just creates a simple commit for every mirror you add. Now the next thing up here, there's a plugin from the guys at Fingertips, which is for unit conversion. Add that to the project as well. Hey, come on. Right. This should work. Conversions. Oh, it's using the stupid caching thing.
Oh my god.
Oh, dude, that sucks. Things always go wrong when you do live demos. Hang on. Oh, that's another good feature. It caches all the repositories you add. So when you add Rails to a project, it uses the cached version. So if you use Braid on multiple projects, you don't have to fetch the Rails repository every single time. It just keeps it right here.
Also, this caching feature prevents some bug in Git that when you import lots of other commits from other repositories. Just doing git fetch on your normal repository will take just a long while, and maybe put git in an infinite loop or something. So this is also helpful.
Why doesn't this work? Ah, that's a shame.
Because you broke it.
Yeah. Okay, so live demos always go wrong. So what I wanted to show you is that the useful thing with Braid, instead of using submodules and stuff, is that you don't have to keep track of what happens within your submodules. It just adds everything to your main repository. This is also helpful when you're deploying. You don't have to pull in other repositories. Everything is in your main repository. And when you make a change to like a plugin you're working on, then you just commit it like it's part of your local project. And the next time you run Braid update, which won't do anything right now, but yeah, right. So you just run it. The next time you run it, it will automatically merge your changes with the ones from upstream. Submodules also sort of help you with this, but it's just a different way to deal with external dependencies in your project, basically. And that's about it, I guess. Here's the URL, in case you're interested, and yeah.
One. Yeah, it works. Yep. Okay, so it's going to be short introduction to Ruby Stack. It's kind of follow-up after one last year presentation in Prague. First, we will start with some kind of description what the Bitnami stack is. It's kind of self-deployable package which is able to install in very easy way. You can install multi-platform. You can install Bitnami stack to Linux. Yeah, okay. You can install Bitnami stacks or Ruby stack to Linux, Windows, and Mac OS X. There are available also stacks for Solaris. The most important thing for us is that you are able to take your web applications, Ruby applications, and integrate everything together, like all the libraries, Ruby and Apache engines, whatever you need, JIT, Subversion, and deliver to a client or use inside the company in a very easy way. The most important feature for me is independence and relocatable. It means that you can just install Bitnami stack or Bitnami Ruby stack or whatever based on Ruby stack like Redmine or Trax applications in any kind of system. I mean, you don't have to have Ruby already installed. You may have different versions already on the systems. It doesn't depend on it. The second thing is that Bitnami stacks and Ruby stack are open source, are for free. So as you will see in a minute, you may just go to our webpage and download it and try it. Yet the second thing about Bitnami stacks is that you need to think about deploying applications either to the server, either to the production server, staging server, development server. You can deploy those applications like installing on the client's machine, but you can deploy it also to the cloud. And it's also available right now with RightScale. So it's kind of short description of what the stack is. So you've got different components, different databases, servers. You just to choose the specific components and create a stack. Yeah, it's the web page. Right now we've got so many stacks for 3 or 4 different platforms, and as you can see, there is a Ruby stack, and we've got Redmine as the most important stack based on Ruby stack. And right now we will do the short demo. I don't know if you know that we were working with GitHub guys to create a stack for them. So how does it look like? Oh, just a second.
Okay. Put it anywhere you like.
One, okay. So for every platform, we've got executable. Depends, it may have 100, 200 megabytes, but it includes everything inside. So we've got installer in the GUI mode. Oh, shit. Yeah, you can apply any kind of conditions. You may check if it's enough of disk space. Yeah. Shit. Yeah. Yeah. One second. I have to think. Yeah, because I have already installed the. Oh shit. Okay, I will show you guys how it may look like. Okay, so after installation, it looks like that. So you've got GitHub test directory, you've got everything. You've got Apache, you've got Git, you've got Java, you've got JRuby, MySQL, Memcache, Nginx, Perl, Python, all the bindings, all the dependencies. And then you're going inside the application and you've got GitHub working on my machine. And it's ready. So if you are afraid of using GitHub, for instance, on GitHub server, you may just deliver your application based on JRuby to your clients, and they can use it in their companies. And how the installers look like? One sec.
We've got a new lightning talk by Kevin Noonan, which is going to be the latest one.
Does it work? Yeah. Oh, the mic. Yeah. Hello, I'm Bart Brinke. I'm going to tell you something about a tool I made with a friend of mine, which kind of fulfilled something I needed, which wasn't there. So I'm hoping a lot of you would like it too and use it too. It's called Request Log Analyzer. What it actually does is you can just it's just a gem. You can install it. Just gem install Request Log Analyzer. It parses request logs actually. So it pretty much does what the name says. At the moment it parses Rails and MERB, but it's a framework, so it can parse pretty much anything else. It's fast, cheap, and easy, because you probably want to run it on the server. It's like McDonald's in that way. It's pretty efficient, so you can just SSH to a server, run the request log analyzer to a log. You can even attach it to a running log. So just you can look at an application instead of using cat or vi to go through a few gigabytes of a log file. This makes it a lot easier. Live demo. Well, it's not really live, so does it fit? Fits now. You can open to HTML as well. I'll show that in a moment. What you see here is just it parses. I parsed just a log file, so it gets the number of lines, the number of requests, the time, and the dates of the requests. You get like basic things like the top hits, HTTP methods, status returned, but it's also a bit more complex. Like you get total request duration, average request duration, minimum and maximum of those. Also things like the rendering time, the database time. That was too quick. The rendering time, the database time, things like process blockers, requests that took longer than a second. So you probably want to look at those. And things like how much traffic is going there per hour. Of course, this will get you started. The neat thing about this is that you can also do down drilling. For example, if I want to have a log, you can slice up the results. So if you say, okay, I've got a log file of my application and I want to just specifically look at a controller that's causing a problem from, I don't know, 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock, you can slice it up and have the same metrics of a very specific function or method. It also has documentation. There's also a wiki which helps you to analyze metrics because metrics, it's just a bunch of numbers. Sometimes it's pretty hard to read what's actually is going on in the app. At GitHub, we are using the wiki to explain a couple of example cases of things that were wrong and how you can find that out using the request log analyzer. This is how you install it. What we're currently working on is you can pipe everything to a SQLite 3 database. And what we want to do is something like with the IRB, so that you can like use, I don't know, Active Record or something to really down drill even more. And the only thing I want to show you is this. This is like the same report I had a moment ago in Bash, only it's just the HTML version, which you can email to somebody and make them do work. That was it.
Noonan.
Kevin, you should know the latest one. The latest guy.
Oh,
That's
sorry.
what I
Who's next?
announced.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, okay,
Oh, I
okay.
thought it was next. Sorry.
Okay.
Go ahead. Sorry. Excuse me. I couldn't see the board.
Okay. Hi, I'm Lindsay. I'm here to talk about Cucumber Nagios. So this is a talk about Ruby, but not really about Rails. It's about something that I'm really passionate about, which is monitoring. I come from a system administration background. So we've all seen Cucumber from earlier today. I'm sure we're all here for the talk. You probably recognize this, right? You have a definition for a site, and you should say that it's up, and these are the things that I want to be able to test right. So when you run that by default, it would be doing that with the pretty formatter, as I mentioned earlier today. So I thought, wouldn't it be totally awesome if you could take Cucumber WebRat and use the mechanized backend for WebRat to be able to output the results of these Cucumber tests to something like Nagios for monitoring. So I created this cool thing called Cucumber Nagios. I did it in 2 hours, and I've spent 16 hours writing all the documentation, so sucks to you all. So how does it actually work underneath the hood? So you call this cucumber Nagios binary, which under the hood is actually doing this, this command here, and the special thing is the Nagios formatter. And this is a really, really simple piece of code. What it does is it uses the, so in Cucumber you can create custom formatters. So we were talking about a HTML one, the plain console one. This one here, it's just outputting a single line, right? So you create it's got a failed and a passed, and if a step passes, it gets added to the passed, and same with the failed. And then down here at the very bottom, what it does is it generates this message, critical, warning, okay. And then it also outputs the data in the Nagios performance data format. So it means that you can do graphs and all that sort of thing for free in Nagios. You don't have to configure any of that. And it outputs that message. And then it uses the, inside the Cucumber Nagios binary itself, it basically does some checking to check that the parameters are okay and whatnot. And the cool thing here is it'll generate this Cucumber Nagios, or this command line for Cucumber. And if it executes the command, if it is good, it will return a 0, which is fantastic. And if it's bad, so if you're on Cucumber and any of the tests fail, it will give you a return value of 1. So we say that if, in this particular case, when you call system, it will return true for 0 and false for anything other than that. So what we do is if we get anything other than 0, it will output a 2, which is fantastic, because Nagios will then just pick up that as being a critical. And alarms will go off, carrier pigeons will go out and notify the world, all that sort of thing. So a quick demo. Oops. So over here, if we run, you do a gem install me cucumber Nagios. I'm not going to do that. So if we do a cucumber Nagios gen project, Euruko, right, and at this point we do a rake deps, which freezes in all the dependencies for it. The quick and easy way to get around that, because this is a very quick presentation, is if we do that. Then if we do bin cucumber Nagios gen feature, we're going to do it for Euruko2009.org, and we're going to test the search. So it generates this thing out over here. Search. Right, so it does all the boilerplate code for you, which is fantastic. We might want to test for something like when I fill in Q with registration, then I should see something like that. I don't know. Right, now if I run that through Cucumber Nagios, features, search, it's going to go off and it's going to return a critical warning and 4OK. Fantastic, so all of this is brilliant. And if you were doing that from within Nagios, Nagios would just go, okay, that's fantastic, I don't need to send off any notifications. So, we go back to this quickly. So the real power of this is that it allows you to do exactly this. You don't have to write the same boilerplate code every single time you want to write a new check for a new service. You can use all the stuff that Cucumber Nagios provides. It's about bridging. Damn.
All right, is this working? I don't have a presentation. I hate PowerPoint. I don't do that. So, I'm ready. All right. My name is Paul Klipp. I'm the founder of the Krakow Ruby Users Group and of Krakow's first Ruby development company, 2004. And mostly, I as the CEO of the company, that's my primary responsibility. Now, if this is not a good fit for this audience, I apologize. A lot of people encourage me to take my 90-minute presentation and condense it down into 5. And it's been valuable. It works for me, and it's worked for a number of other people who have been inspired by my podcast to start their own Rails development companies. And so maybe it will inspire somebody here if it can do so in 4 more minutes. I sell about €1 million worth of software development services a year, which might seem like a lot to some people, not so much to other people. But my closing rate is better than 80%. If I get a person on the phone, I close. Which is really good. And what I found, what mostly happens, is people contact me asking me to bid on projects. And those of you who are in the service field have probably seen this. I have never written a proposal. If I write a proposal, I've already lost the business. I don't waste any time on that. If I can't close a sale in 1-2 phone calls tops, I don't pursue it any further. And I usually do close in the first phone call. And what I've found is when somebody's looking for a bid, the reason they're doing that is because they've already had a previous experience with outsourced software development services, and they know what most of us know and fight daily, which is that software sucks. The vast majority of code would be better off not being written at all. And from a client's point of view, the experience sucks even more because it's painful, it's expensive, it's agonizing, it's frustrating, and it's frightening. Spending all of that time putting together the documentation, trying to describe what they want, throwing it over the wall, and then praying for 6 months, 9 months, whatever, that you actually understand what they're talking about. And so what I try to do is first establish trust really early, get a person on the phone, and establish trust by being brutally honest about my experiences and my firm's strengths and weaknesses, telling them what we all know here, which is that nobody knows what it's going to cost and nobody knows how long it's going to take. One of the beautiful things about agile processes is it recognizes the weaknesses of the inventive process and minimizes the risks. So what I tell people is that I can't tell you exactly how long it's going to take or how much it's going to cost, but I can tell you that it'll get the most bang for your buck and give you control and power and put you in the driver's seat. It gives you total transparency over what's happening. And this is a lot of people don't realize how incredibly empowering that is to the client or to the internal client as well, to think that they can actually sit in the driver's seat and participate in the process as part of the development team rather than as a fearful, nervous bystander who's just watching money flowing out of their wallet. Wow, that was actually pretty quick. My goodness, the other 89. I would encourage any of you who are interested. I know of at least one programmer who quit his job and started a successful software development company that now employs 12 people after listening to the full presentation, which you can find in my podcast. Just look for me in iTunes, Paul Klipp or Agile Activist. And wow, I guess I've got a minute for questions. Great. All right.
Great. So this is going to be the last one. Remember to hold it.
I will.
Close
No
to the
top.
top. Yeah, right.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah. Good evening. I know you're all tired. I won't keep you long, obviously. This is my second presentation on the cloud, this time Google's cloud. And just a quick recap, cloudware I'm defining as outsourced virtualization. So, and Google's platform is in the middle layer, whereas Amazon is in the bottom. Okay, and apps are at the top. It narrows because it's narrowing of applicability. Obviously, an app is a niche, so like Gmail isn't very widely applicable, whereas a platform you can do a great number of things on, and at the bottom, still less applicability. more applicability. But so there are many startups on App Engine. Buddy Poke in particular has proven the platform because it scaled to 30 million users and more. There's only one large firm, though, very few large firms who embraced App Engine. Now, once upon a time, App Engine was released, and Ruby developers flocked in droves to App. No, that didn't happen last year. A year ago, it was purely because there was a snake in the garden. It was in Python only. But about a month ago, a new flavor was released. Now, this doesn't excite you, but JRuby runs on this system. Pretty much anything that runs in the JVM will run. Because the JVM is a platform, because Java is a platform, you can run many, many languages, including Ruby. Now, what is App Engine? App Engine is basically a web stack. And it runs on Google's infrastructure. That's the attraction of it, that it is potentially massively scalable. If your app is successful, it can scale. It's also free to begin with. The important problem is, though, that you can't, it has to be restricted. Because it's free, they can't just allow abuse. So there are, the APIs, Memcache API, an image API, an email API, there's several APIs available on it. And you have to use Bigtable, that's the big limitation, but that is a massively scalable database. And there's an SDK, so you can develop locally on several platforms, and test locally, and then deploy to the cloud later. Okay, now I'm going to switch over to my other slides. I'm sorry, I had some slide corruption, so I need to switch to an older presentation. Apologies to the reference to other technology in this presentation. Just a few slides here. So applications run in the sandbox. Like I say, it's open to abuse, so there is a sandbox. You can only use Google's method for doing HTTP requests over the net. You can't write to local files. You can only read. There's some other limitations. And native modules in Ruby will not work. That's a big problem with it. But if you're prepared to accept that, you can host your apps on this system. And long-lived processing. Requests have to return in 30 seconds, so it's a limited platform. And they have limited offline processing. So basically, cron jobs will run. And HTTPS, you have to use Google certificate, and you can only use a certain URL. Whereas in general, you can use any URL you want. But if you're using HTTPS, you have to use their certificate and a particular URL. There are several more features being released by June. These are important features to expand the platform. It's a year old. They've constantly released new features. I expect them to continue to do that. That's very exciting, I think, the Jabber support, because it means you can do instant messaging or real-time messaging. I'm going to flick those. They're not applicable. Billing, it's true pay-per-use. Unlike with Amazon, if you were running server, you're being charged by the hour. With 0 users or just in test mode, with this, you can get started, scale to a reasonable level, and only later start having billing. And you can assign resources, so it won't just hit your credit card beyond a certain level. That is, it maxes out. You can cap the resource use. There are generous free quotas. There are several other limitations. One that has to be overcome in Ruby is nobody has overcome the limit on static files, 1,000 static files. Someone needs to do a zip work on Ruby. That's been done in Python and in Java. It just needs to be done in Ruby, a zip job to wrap it up. Atypical uses. If you don't use it as a web stack, you can do other things with it. You can wrap web services or wrap Bigtable. Bigtable is just an incredible database. They have done all their Google applications with Bigtable. So it's petabyte scale. It's a planetary database. That's very exciting. It's possible to wrap that and just use that database for your applications. You could run open source software. You could just host static files. Okay. I'll switch back just to finish off my presentation. Excuse me. Sorry. So this is a very important slide. I'll post this on the net, but links to how to use Sinatra, Rails, etc. And my photo credits. Please go experiment with this stuff. It's very exciting. And this is how to contact me if you have any questions. Mailbox@calvin.com. I'm Kevin_Noonan on Twitter. I will post the slides if you want to see the links. Thank you very much. Enjoy the cloud.